There we go. Okay. So this is the Oz report for July 3rd, 2021. Let's start with something that we have been talking about for weeks on the Oz report, but this week I'm not going to get around talking about it again, and that's the Abyssal materials. If you've been following my investments and you are maybe taking them as a hint to invest for yourself, then I hope you are waist deep in Abyssal materials at the moment. If you're looking at crystalline isogen, since we talked last, so I've been saying this for 2 or 3 weeks to buy this, right? Since we talked last, crystalline isogen has absolutely spiked. 0 point condensate, same thing, has absolutely spiked. And what's happening here, if you missed the previous week's Oz report, is that we had industry changes, massive industry changes in April. Introducing big changes, additional raw materials used in a lot of the faction ships and a lot of the larger ships. So especially for Triglavian ships, we saw them getting more and more expensive. This meant that the production went all the way down, or went down steadily around on pretty much all Triglavian ships. Because they were in less demand. So if you look at something like the Leshak, for example, right here, you can see that this is the big Triglavian battleship. You can see that it's been going steadily down since April, since introduction. It's basically been going steadily down, the volume traded, and that's because it's way more expensive than it was before. What that means on a raw material level, so on like the basic macroeconomic level, is that the biggest input material for these Triglavian ships, so the Abyssal materials, 0 point condensate and crystalline isogen, they both get demanded a lot less. At the same time, you still have the same people running Abyssal filaments at the same time, right? That hasn't died down. If you look at the numbers, it's basically steady. So that means the same amount of stuff is entering the game, but less people are building with it, so the price has crashed, right? If we're looking at crystalline isogen, you see April, right? People producing the shit out of the market and then dropping down all the way down because there's too much in the game and people are liquidating their stockpiles. Now, this is, as always in EVE, it's an overreaction. So what you can do in this situation is you can buy into these markets, and you can see since then it has been steadily rising. Yes, it's slow. Yes, it's slow, and crystalline isogen, don't expect it to go back up here, right? Expect it to go around the 50, 55. So right now it's already back to normal, right? But you were able to buy into this around 30, 35, and so you were able to make a lot of money. On 0 point condensates, it's actually a little bit more interesting because these you can expect to go to levels around 50, 60, and they still aren't as high, right? They're still hovering around 45, but just like the crystalline isogen, they've been pulling up a lot. And so my prediction is that they are going to go back to previous levels. And a nice side effect of that, and I also mentioned that last week, but it's even more important now, is that if you're looking at the things that use Abyssal materials, it's not only the ships, it's also modules such as the disintegrators, right? The Triglavian weapons. You can see that they haven't spiked yet. So the heavy entropic, the light entropic, even the Velas, the faction ones, they haven't spiked yet, right? So deduct your own things there, but go in there and like I can tell you what I'm doing. I am buying these, of course. I'm sitting on my stockpiles because once the raw materials, the productions going into these products is going up, right? And once these stockpiles of current ones are going down, those markets are going to come back up. And so it's definitely a recommendation of mine to go in and invest in some of these markets right here. Related, right? But life support backup units. I've been wanting to talk about these for a while now, and that's this. This is one of the new items that was introduced in the April industry changes patch. And so this is a very, very new item. It just started trading, right? So what we saw here, of course, is in the beginning it's very, very expensive, and then the prices have come down. Now, if you look at something like the Leshak, the life support unit, right? It makes up a big chunk of the price of it. If you look at the development since April, the reason it's gotten so expensive is because they've added about 200 to 300 million of new items that are required to build a Leshak, right? And I'm just using the Leshak as an example here, right? And so the way these are the reason they're so expensive is because they have new stuff introduced. But so why is it still so expensive? Right? If you look at the life support backup unit, you would think, well, in the beginning it's expensive, and then it just goes all the way back down, right? But if we look at what goes into it, it's water, oxygen, and reinforced carbon fiber, right? If you click on the blueprint, that's pretty much it. And so in the end, if you look at the cost, this is the biggest chunk, but these are pretty big as well. So let's look at where they are, right? You can look at water, right? Water is a typical PI good, right? No problem there. Very, very easy to make. Anyone can make it on any planet all the time. Not any, but most of them. It's very, very easy, right? It's very simple. And this is where it was before. This is the impact that it had, that it was now used in a very, very highly demanded good. And it's been coming down. There really isn't much reason for it not to come down further, right? Because the market's going to catch up. Right now, it's very, very profitable to make water in PI. So more people are going to be doing it. There's really no reason to do other PI or other PI at the same level than these. And so, you know, this is a no-brainer. It's going to come down a little bit more, right? The other one is oxygen. Oxygen, same thing. And this thing is before, same thing, trading at just above 250, and then it went up. It hasn't even come down yet, but it's going to come down as people produce it more, right? The last one is reinforced carbon fiber. Reinforced carbon fiber, though, this is basically, and I'll have to share my, let's see here, can we share the EVE cookbook? If you look at reinforced carbon fiber, this is actually RAVWorks. What goes in there, it's mostly hydrocarbons and atmospheric gases, right? Hydrocarbons and atmospheric gases. Those two things are actually moon goo, okay? So this moon goo, it's not something that you can make up from thin air, right? It's not, it's limited in the game. So in terms of reinforced carbon fiber, this is going to be much, much more difficult to come down, right? So if we're looking at life support backup as a whole, I made an analysis on where do I think the target price is going to be based on what I think can be corrected and what can't be corrected with the current ecosystem in mind. Of course, they could add more hydrocarbons, they could add more atmospheric gases at any point in time. But then again, that can always happen, right? And so what I came up with is, I think that the life support backup unit that is right now trading around 500, I think it could go to around 250 to 300 in the near future, in the mid future, in the next month, and so that is at least going to take off, maybe 50 to 100 million of the Leshak, but it's not nearly going to be enough if we look at the Leshak history. And again, the Leshak is just an example here. This could take down, it could go back down to like 600 million or something, but it's not going to go back down here, right? Just because they've added raw materials, there's almost no way that it will, right? So I think target price for the Leshak is going to be more around here, around 600 million, not the 780 that it is right now. So this is definitely gonna come down, but not insanely so. The reason I'm telling you this is because this part, the life support backup unit, and the 1-2 other things that were added to ships, it's actually central for the direction that the market is going right now, because it's in so many new things, right? It's in all faction ships, it's in all larger ships. So the question of where life support backup units are going to end up in is Very, very, very important. All right, so that's life support backup unit. That's Abyssal material. So okay, so by the way, Leshak's, you know, also a lot of Abyssal material going in, right? So that is actually right now in the Leshak manufacturing price. That's holding it. That's holding it back a little. So when the Abyssal material is going back to normal, that's actually going to add a little bit on the price. So yeah. Yeah, core temperature regulators are the other ones that are that have been added. There's a few more, right? If you click and look at the market here, this is the other one, the auto integrity preservation seal. Very similar trajectory in the core temperature regulator as well. But this is, I think, more for capital ships, right? But I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's Abyssal materials. That's life support. Let me take the Oz report in the home stretch to look at agency drugs. Agency drugs. If you follow my stream, you know that one of my favorite things to invest in, because anytime we have an event, they give these out, and then afterwards they are scarce. They're not scarce, but they're not easy to come by, right? So there's no unlimited supply. They can't be manufactured. And so right now there's not an event going on, and there hasn't for a little bit where these have been going out. And so people are buying a lot of these. So if you look at hard shells 4, overclocker 3 and 4, these are all in territories where I'm selling again. And so again, I never get tired of saying this, but you know, buy into the dips from events, big events dip, and then sell when they recover back to normal. Right now, overclocker dose 4, you know, if it gets anywhere close to 25 million, you sell. Right now they're at 24.3. I'm happy to sell. Burnt logic circuit. This is one of the salvage material examples where this has absolutely dropped off just insane amounts. I think it's in territory where I'm definitely buying 18,000. This is nearly all-time low, and that is again because people are manufacturing a lot less now. Right? It's not a time. Manufacturing is down 50% since the beginning of last year, and so we're looking for that turnaround if it ever happens. But if it doesn't, pretty much the game is dead. So you might as well buy into these salvage goods. Caldera Navy Vice Admiral insignia, one of the insignias that you trade in LP stores for. The thing I want to mention here is just the insane margins. This is an item that is actually getting buy and sell orders fulfilled, as you can see by the nice little orange dot distribution here. The median price jumps around, so that means, you know, sell order fulfilled, buy order fulfilled on any given day. It's great, and the margin is you know, 30% or something like here. So this is a great item to be trading in right now if you're flipping it. If you're holding large amounts in the long term, then you know, you're nervous right now because it's low. But then again, to me, again, this is a time to buy in here because it's very low. Excavator mining drones, on the other hand, they are back up. This is a very, very large market in EVE, so that's why I'm mentioning this. 270 is a price it hasn't seen in a long time. So you know, I am selling excavator mining drones because, you know, my average buy price is somewhere around 240, 250, and so I'm happy taking that 10-15% and leaving. The medium defense field extender, I just wanted to mention this because this is the result. We were talking about the burnt logic circuits earlier. If you look at medium core defense field extenders, 1 and especially the 2s, these are some of the biggest rig markets there are, right? This is a very, very double-digit billion market, and they're using burnt logic circuits. And that is why the production price has dropped so much, and therefore also the sell price, because demand was pretty much steady, as you see here. So if you want to, you know, double down on your salvage bet, these are The Tech 2 ones are where the real volume is. The ones I'm just showing you because that's the one that's using the burnt logic circuit. And then, you know, have an eye on Republic Fleet insignias. Several of these, they're very, very interesting. The captain and high captain ones, they've just, you know, completely dropped off, and that's just because there's currently not a great not a great thing to trade them in for profitably. But the Fleet Commander insignia, same LP store, right? This one is a fantastic thing to be in right now. So I've sold several of these over 5 million, where my average buy price was somewhere around 4.3 or 4.4. And just like the Caldari Navy Vice Admiral insignia, it's a nicely distributed item. It's a good trade item. You can buy it from buy orders. You can sell it through sell orders, and those are you know, 15-20% apart. So why not go for it? Love this item, Republic Fleet Commander insignia, and a good volume as well. Cool. That wraps up the Oz report for today, July 3rd, 2021. We're going to return to regular streaming. Thanks for watching. And now I can talk to chat again.